early Monday. It is 5 a.m. Central Time here in Wakanda, Illinois. Hoping you guys and gals have a great start to your week. So here we are. We're doing another happy complimentary class. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to be doing a recovery or a stretching class. Ooh, and I wouldn't say it's ominous, the flickering of the lights. I have gotten some requests about doing different types of classes, right? So as you can see, we are still without our big equipment from the gym, from the official gym in Palatine. So I will be obviously changing the workouts and adding different things as we get more of that. But I did chat with some of you all in the last couple of weeks about different types of classes. So far what we've been doing are total body boot camps with certain focuses, like sometimes there's a little bit more of a focus on cardio, sometimes a little bit more of a focus on upper body, sometimes a little bit more on core, but in general it's been a total body kind of boot camp, usually 30 minutes. Sometimes we went longer, 40, 45, depending on kind of the engagement and availability of time for me. So today I figured I have been getting some questions about different types of recovery classes. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a little bit of a yoga kind of stretching class, which I think will be great. It'll be great for me too, because I had a pretty intense day yesterday. So it'll be a good way to get the body moving. Hopefully some of you that are going to be hopping on and watching, it'll be a good way for you to start your day. Kind of get nice and loose and go from there. So we really don't need anything. It's just gonna be us. However, there might be some things we might use. It might be the Swiss balls over here for some of the stretching. And then, if you have one of these, for example, being a massage gun. I know back when I got this bad boy, they were pretty new. This is the Hypervolt Plus, which actually has lasted for as long as we've had our business almost. I got it almost at the beginning of when we started. I think 2018 is when we started Complete Warrior Fitness. But I believe this one I got in 2019. And it's been working pretty awesome. I've had to just replace the battery. Now we're at a point where this little nub here, or this little motor, not motor, but like the attachment, you can attach these, change out the attachments to different types for recovery. Just this end here has been a little bit loose from all the use, because I've basically been using it a lot, almost every day that I've been working. So if you have one of these, then we might be able to utilize these as well during our recovery session here. So that's really the only other thing. If you don't have one of those, it's totally fine, but you can get those pretty cheap now. Back when I was looking at them, they were new and a lot of them were more pricey. Now you have like these little ones that are travel size. You can get for like, who knows, $30, $40. So nothing too crazy. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and start our recovery class, stretching, yoga, whatever you wanna call it. It's really just gonna be a good way to get everything moving today. And then let's go from there. So I'm gonna start my watch. And I have so with these, you can set up different sports profiles with these Polar watches. For those of you that have an Apple Watch, obviously you have your different sports profiles on there as well. If you have Fitbit, they also have them. So all of those are there. I'm gonna select yoga today, even though we're not gonna be doing as much, I would say mindful breathing. It's gonna be more, we're gonna be chatting and stuff. So, I think you'll be able to breathe and just listen if you're doing it. If you're following this after the fact, feel free to adjust whatever you want. Oh, and I see people popping in. Hey everybody, good morning. Coach Greg here. It's Muscle Monday. We're doing a little bit of stretching and recovery today. So this will be a good way to hopefully get your morning started and your week. Those of you that enjoyed Easter and you are full of happy Easter food, hopefully this is a good way for you to recover as well. Let's go ahead and start. We're gonna do some hip circles to kind of get everything moving here. About maybe 5 and 5. So hands on hips, and then we will switch. And then as always, as you pop in and you're doing your, kind of sweep of the different channels and you want to hang out here for a little bit, Any health or fitness related questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'd be happy to help. All right, let's do our twists, standing as we typically do. Don't forget to lift the heel. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and reach up high. Breathe in and then breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. As you kind of fall forward. One more time. Overhand. And breathe out. So today will be a combination of different types of stretches from, standing to stationary. And thank you, TM. I do feel like a cutie patootie, especially early in the mornings. Well, one of the things that I really like about these types of classes is, you can get almost anybody on the chat, which is awesome. Let's see. You're just a ray of sunshine, aren't you? Yes, I am. That's what everybody tells me. How are you guys doing? TM, and maybe you know me, but I don't. How are you guys doing, guys or gals, wherever you're from? I'm assuming guys. Guys usually have the fun comments like that. Where are you checking in from? So we have our hip flexor stretch. So this one, my lead leg is basically, my knee is even with my hip. And I'm gonna go ahead and let my body weight kind of sink forward. I'm gonna stretch my hip flexor here. So this one is good for those of you that are, doing any sort of track and field running. If you're doing any sort of karate, this was a great one for us when we were trying to stretch our hip flexors to open up the hip and also recover the muscles that were used for all the kicks. What you can do also is you can thread your hand under and basically use your shoulder to pop open your hip a little bit. So I'll go from this angle here. You can go through it like this and just stretch. Let your body weight open up that hip a little bit and enjoy that stretch. This one's gonna be really good for the hip. Anybody if you're doing strength training, I get a lot of people when I have them doing walking lunges, for example. These lunges can sometimes be a little bit tough on the hip flexor. So this is a good way to stretch that muscle. You can go ahead and put your hands behind your back also. And all right, here we go. We'll switch and we'll go to the other one. Let's see, we got some interesting comments here. Oh, I'm a sweet little sugar pie. Well, thank you, TM. I feel very, very sugary. That's amazing. Oh, I'm as beautiful as a dandelion blossoming in the sunshine time. My goodness, that is very poetic. I feel like my wife might be very jealous of all the attention I'm getting this morning. But you know what? I do feel like a dandelion. I feel like I'm blossoming in the early spring sun. But actually, I really appreciate you guys because you're up at 5 a.m. Well, maybe it's not 5 a.m. where you are. But actually, yeah, what time zone are you guys in? Because sometimes I get people that are crazy enough to be up at this hour or earlier. And sometimes people are checking in across the world. So Saturday I had our 9 a.m. Boot camp here. And there were some people checking in from Australia and stuff, which was kind of awesome. But yeah, it was definitely not as early for them. So same idea on this side. You can also do what's called an active stretch like this. Sometimes a good way to activate the hip. So do a couple of these pumps forward and back. You'll feel this upper quad muscle here that connects to the hip activate a little bit, and you can stretch this one out. I'm gonna go and thread my hand underneath. Stretch, stretch. Good way to stretch that one out. Okay. Good. So we have both of those. We're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a butterfly stretch also. All right. Okay, well, we didn't get any more comments there, but I hope you guys, if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat or amazing comments. That's also good. All right, so we're back to our, well, we're gonna start our butterfly, not back to, we're just starting them. So feet together, this is one that a lot of people probably know. You know, sometimes you get it in gym class. Sometimes if you're doing sports, they will give you this one to do. What I'm doing is I'm doing this little flutter. Isn't that cute? A little flutter of the butterfly stretch. This one is great for hips also. We used to do this one a lot in karate. Actually, my brother would sometimes, we would do kind of, if we were going to do some sort of recording for our channel, or, you know, way back before when we were kids, before we would do some sparring or something, we would kind of help each other with this stretch. Sometimes he would stand, or I would stand on his on his legs, on the knees here, which would be a really intense version of the stretch. Not one that I would recommend unless you're actually flexible and warmed up, but a great way to get this this stretch going. All right, so I'm gonna do that by activating these muscles. Now I can go ahead and put my elbows against the feet, or against the knees here, and my hands underneath my feet, and just push down and stretch. Breathe. So if anybody's got any tightness or any pain, feel free to pop it in the chat, and then we can look at what kind of stretch might be able to help. Like, for example, for me, I can feel it from, I guess just the way I slept, right in my low back and the right side. Or it could be something maybe from one of the workouts I did earlier. So we're gonna go ahead and stretch to help that out. Let's go ahead and get a different view here. All right, so runner's stretch, one of my favorites. Runner's stretch, you start on the back, you're gonna bring one knee up, and then from here, I'm gonna go ahead and go, if it's my right knee, for example, my right leg, I'm gonna go across my left side. So I'm gonna go ahead and go across the left. My left hand is gonna go on the outside of my right leg here, my right knee, and I'm just gonna push gently. As I push, I wanna breathe out. So it's like almost in line with what we would do in strength training, right? So people would always ask me, how do I breathe properly? Usually it's exhalation on exertion. So let's say I'm doing a press, I have a weight, right? Let's say I got a weight here, which I do, and I'm having a hard time pressing it out, and I wanna make sure I contract properly. I breathe as I press, you know, and then that gives me more power. Basically, I'm contracting the proper muscles, and I'm not getting any air stuck in my body. There's a whole concept to this. But when you breathe improperly, you'll feel it right away. If you were to breathe on the wrong part, you would basically just be activating the wrong muscles at the wrong time, and possibly even getting air stuck in your belly, where you get that kind of like muscle or stomach cramp. So with yoga or with stretching, it's kind of the same. As you're going to you know, do a motion, you have to breathe properly. In this case, as I'm going to be pulling down, I want to make sure that I activate the right muscles or release the right muscles. I breathe out. So I breathe in. I never hold my breath as I push. I breathe out as I go down. So this hand goes down. I'm going to look across my body. So if this leg is going to my left side, I'm going to look to my right. And stretch. And I can hold this. Obviously, these stretches you can normally hold for a lot longer than we're going to, but we're going to be holding it just long enough to feel a benefit, and then we will go to the next stretch. All right. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and swap. Opposite side. Let's get a different angle here. So this time the left knee comes up, right hand goes on top of the left knee on the outside, and I will go and pull. Breathe in and breathe out. And just release. Everything should be nice and relaxed. And I'll go across the body here with my head. So where do we feel it here? It's mostly in the glute, which is the butt and in the back, which for me was actually the main kind of challenging area this morning. So this will definitely help. All right, here we go, enough of that. Rock forward. All right, so next up we're gonna go ahead and do something for the back as well, knees. We're gonna bring a knee forward, and then we're going to bring a second knee forward. So basic but helpful. So just like we did before, but now I'm gonna bring the knee and hold it. This one is also great for the hip flexor. All right. So anybody that's watching, we still got a fair amount of people. Any questions? Any, shall I say, because usually we do strength training. Obviously today we're doing more of a stretch and recovery. Any of you guys or gals have any issues with muscles being tight or areas that hurt? Anything that you feel like might be good to address? Feel free to pop it in the chat, and I'd be happy to try to answer that question. Same thing with just general health and fitness. Anything that you guys and gals might need some help with, I'd be happy to help out. All right, second side, second knee. And I'm feeling that good release here. Good. Okay, and then we'll do our dual knee. So dual knee we can do from the side like this. You can put your hands like this, lock them together. So lock them hand over hand, or as they call gable grip. Or you can go ahead and just hold them palm over palm and release. What's cool about this one, I especially feel this one working for my low back. As you pull in, you can go ahead and rock side to side. That actually really helps release some of the muscles. Now, if you're not able to, let's say because of lack of flexibility, or because you have shorter arms, or let's say you have a bigger body, bigger belly, something like this, and you can't really get underneath like that, you can also go on top of your knees like this. You know, you won't get as deep of a stretch, but it's a great start. And you can also, if you can't do it with both, because you're getting a cramp in the back or something, you can do it with one leg like we were doing also. So, find what works for you and try to get a little bit of a release here. I'm gonna rock side to side. It's helping my low back a lot. That's what's interesting is a lot of us, you guys ever notice how we get super tight the older we get? And I'm noticing how flexible, like I have two little toddlers at home, and they just turned 2, adorable. And we have a cat, also adorable. And sometimes I look at them and I notice like how flexible and you know, kind of loose they are. It's amazing. And you know, we tend to lose that as we get older. Like you know, our ligaments, our muscles, everything gets tighter. We don't maintain it. We get into positions where we don't move a lot. You know, a lot of us might even have jobs. I'm just pulling in closer, that's why my voice changed. A lot of us have jobs where we're sitting in a cubicle all day, or sitting in a car all day, you know, or maybe even standing a lot, and that creates issues if you don't know how to stand. All right, we'll come up here. And we lose that elasticity or that mobility. So like I said, I noticed with our cat, obviously cats are different, right? They have extra shoulder muscles, they have extra muscles all around. So they're very mobile. They have, their spine is also very mobile and hypermobile. So they're different, right? They're built different. But you look at some of the way that they stretch, and you can use it as an inspiration. For example, we're gonna do one with a back focus, and that's gonna be a cat stretch. That's actually something that is inspiring. And once again, I look at my little girls, and you know, the way that they kind of move as they reach for things, you know, the way that they can kind of just grab a foot and just, you know, bring it overhead. Even, yeah, so the other day, even like, you know, there was like one of the girls was running, and then she noticed, oh, I dropped the block. And what does she do? She doesn't do like what a lot of people might do, which is like kind of just reach, you know? She would just go down, she would pop down like this, grab it, and then like play, look at it, whatever, and then pop back up. And it's like, you know, super hyper flexible. Same thing with how they try to climb things. They just put a leg like super high and then just reach. That kind of flexibility we lose over time if we don't maintain it. That's why, you know, use it as an inspiration almost, because you're gonna be able to really feel younger. You could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, and be super, you know, healthy and mobile with great joints, great muscle tone. And the key is really just daily stretching. So back we go. We're gonna go to our tabletop position. So hands underneath our shoulder, both in line, knees about shoulder width apart. And then from here, I'm gonna do the cat-cow. So I'm gonna go up, and I'm gonna go ahead and go in, up, and in. And breathing wise, it's interesting. I get questions about this one. Sometimes people will say breathe in on the cat stretch, which is what I've heard more commonly. And then release on the cow when you kind of dip your back in. Sometimes I've heard the opposite, where you breathe in on the cow, so you go, and then exhale on the cat. So no matter how you do it, it's not important, it's not critical right now. It's more about just releasing the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this, and exhale on this one, on the cow. I'll show you from the side here. So cat. Right into child pose here. So I'm gonna rock my hips back. I'm gonna spider walk my hands forward. As I breathe up. So get my elbows down. Right, a couple deep breaths. Now this one is the child pose is an awesome one, and you can do it. There's different versions of it too. What you can do is sometimes even adjust it to be more of a grounding pose, which basically, in a nutshell, it just means like it's really good for your central nervous system. So a variation of this is, I'm going to take my glasses off. You're actually going to, you know how I was showing earlier, right? With this kind of pose. You can actually even put your hands behind your back or along your side and just kind of, almost like you're trying to take a nap. Sometimes you see kids do this, like my toddlers in their cribs when they sleep, sometimes they're in this pose. Why? Because it's relaxing. So, you know, you can do this as well if you have something for the head, like, you know, this floor is soft, so I can just do it. You might put a towel, or you might put something like a pillow, and you'll notice if you're doing this for even a few moments, but you can do it for longer, it's super relaxing. Now, obviously you have to be able to get into this position. If it's not comfortable, it means there's other areas of your body that need to be released first, but if you're able to, that's what it would look like. You basically just go down, hands will be alongside your body, breathe in and just put the head down and exhale, and then just let your shoulders fall, everything down on the floor. All right, now I'm not gonna hold it for too long, but you could hold that pose for a while and it'll be super relaxing. Once again, it brings the central nervous system kind of from a high state. You know, let's say you had a pretty crazy day, or you got into a fight, you know, coming home, or, you know, whatever, you're upset. You go into a quiet room, preferably a little bit dark, and you hold that pose, and you're going to feel awesome. It's a great grounding pose. So that one's done. Let's go ahead and do the next one. We're gonna do a pigeon pose, which is basically just bringing our foot in front while stretching the glute. So this is one of my favorites. You know, you basically just go down like this. You fold it in front of you. Depending on how flexible you are, you're gonna be able to get more out of it. The closer the heel is to your hip, the more of a deep stretch you're gonna get. So we're gonna go ahead and down. And I'm gonna hold it here. It's another one of those relaxing poses for the central nervous system, especially if you kind of let yourself fall forward entirely. But sometimes people like to be up, more alert, and really focus on that stretch, and that's totally fine. And then you can also, if you're flexible enough, you can reach behind you. Now this one's crazy. If you reach behind you, you can also grab, you can also stretch your quadricep from this pose. So I'm trying to do it so you can see it. All right, here we go. All right, so now I got it. You can't see it, but I'm stretching my leg behind me. Maybe I can, if I go like this. It's a very intense stretch for the quadricep, almost to the point where you won't feel this as much, but all right, here we go. So we're stretching here. We got some more comments. Let's see. I love you and your wife has to accept it. Thank you, TM. I think so too. I think it's a new aspect to our relationship. Do push-ups. Yeah, Conor McGregor. We got Conor McGregor joining the official. I'm sure he is taking a break from some sort of crazy boat party on his yacht to join us here. Thank you, Conor McGregor. Big fan. Love the documentary, by the way. That was awesome. Oh, and then he jumped off. That's too bad. All right, here we go. So we got more of a stretch here on that hip and glute. And let's swap opposite side. So one thing that people don't always know about this stretch is the fact that if you got back tightness or back issues, if you do something like this where you stretch your glute, you're gonna actually get relief there. So those of you that have back pain that are watching or watching after the fact, not live, try some of these stretches for your back, for your glute, and then you're gonna feel a lot better. And I'll show you in a second why it kind of makes sense. We're just gonna finish this stretch here. All right, a couple more seconds here. All right, so our body's connected. Think of it like, it's like one series of, nerves, muscles, ligaments. Everything has a connection and, connecting point, end point. So it's no reason to think that if one area is tight, it's not gonna affect something else. So when it comes to the back, people think like, well, if my back is tight, it's because those muscles are tight, or I have some issues there like spinal stenosis or whatever, if they go to a doctor and get it checked out. And yeah, it could be true, but what's interesting is those are the types of people that usually don't stretch ever, and they're tight and they feel bad, and they don't realize that if they were to release one part of their body, they would feel better. So with the back, it's not just that these muscles back here are tight, or even the ones above. Everything's connected. So what are some of the biggest muscles we have besides the back? It's the glutes. The glutes are very strong. And if we're standing all day, and if we're doing things that are going to make them tight, they're going to end up tight, and they're going to end up pulling on these muscles. Same thing with the hip. Everything's kind of like a big bundle. So if these are connected and they're tight, they're pulling on this muscle, and you're going to feel a lot of pain. I've had clients as well where they would complain of their knee being tight or the muscles here being tight. And then what we end up finding out is that because these areas are very tight, this is called an IT band that runs alongside your leg here, the iliotibial band, and iliotibial band, sorry. And if this is tight, it's going to pull on the muscles here. It's going to make everything really, really just painful. So if you release one, you end up releasing pressure from the other. It's like a chain reaction almost. So with the glutes, a lot of your tightness is actually going to be as a result of other areas. So if you release that, you're gonna feel better. All right, enough about that. Let's go ahead and do a plow pose. If Conor McGregor is still on, He's gonna enjoy this one because he had a funny comment earlier. He's like, "What are you doing?" Do push-ups, yes, and actually that is something that I usually do. Let's see. I have a lot of love this morning, which is great. A lot of fun comments, some which YouTube thinks are not appropriate, which I always find hilarious because I'm like, how do you know? How do you know that that's what it is? But I guess they're using some sort of AI moderation. All right, we're gonna do plow pose, which means I'm going to try to throw my legs up in the air and then behind me. So I might need to go off to the side here where I have some more space. This one of the best for releasing the back. All right, here we go. Up, there we go. So usually people will have some sort of yoga block or something back here. If you don't, just support yourself with your hands like this. So my upper arm is back, and you can decide then, it's hard to see because of the pants I have, but I have a slight bend in my knees. You can make them straight, which will stretch actually more of your hamstring. So more back there. If I'm looking to just release my back, then I'm going to keep them slightly bent, depending on obviously your recovery level or your flexibility level, and breathe out and bring them further back. Now, the other thing you can do is this little kind of like flutter, and you're wondering probably why, but this one, it's great because it kind of releases one side at a time, and if you alternate, it kind of turns the muscles on and off, on and off, on and off, and it helps you with this alternated motion get a little bit of a deeper stretch. You can go side to side a little bit. Really a great stretch. Depending on how comfortable you are, you can probably even go further back. Sometimes I go all the way back where my feet touch the floor. Today I'm okay with just being here because I'm not as warmed up as I would be. All right, and we're ready to move on to a different stretch also. But that's one of the best when you're trying to release your back. The plow pose. For some people, it might not be comfortable enough because you do have that inversion, or you do have that feeling of your lower body kind of pressing on your upper. So for those situations, you might want to swap for something else, like the pigeon pose we did, the knee to chest. But that one, if you're ready for it, it's one of the best ways to release the back. So we're gonna go from that one back to a different position, but a familiar one, the what we call the I'm drawing a blank here, tabletop pose. And then we're gonna step over. Step over here. So from the side, it looks like something like this. I will straighten one leg and step over. Now this one, my brother showed me this stretch. It's pretty awesome. So step and go back. And then once I have that step, I'm gonna turn and look at my foot. Great way to stretch the glute, so the butt muscle again, and my back. It's a super stretch for multiple reasons. All right. Hold that for a little bit. And we're gonna go ahead and swap opposite side. Nice, okay. That stretch is awesome because if you bring your foot back, you can also stretch your calf. So it's a multi-stretch situation. Somebody say snake pose, perfect. Or spinal snake twist. This one, we're also gonna be doing for the back. I'm gonna go ahead and sit on my butt like I am. Bring one leg forward. So let me show you this. So start like this, one leg is bent kind of towards me. I'm gonna try to step over with my opposite. And if you're having a hard time, you can always use your arms to kind of adjust you. For some, this will be as far as they go, and that's okay. if you're able to kind of get into this stretch, you're gonna put your elbow against the outside of the knee. So it's like you're making a little human pretzel. So I'm gonna go in like this, right? And then from here, I'm gonna try to turn away from my body. It's another great way to stretch the back. There we go. Hold it for a few seconds. And if you can go deeper, then turn even more. Take your hand, it's behind me, you can't see it, but you can turn away and stretch even more. Okay. Swap, opposite side. And note which side is easier. Is there a side that's a little bit harder for you, or are they kind of both tight at the same level? So for me, I think this is the side that's going to be a little bit tighter. So I'm going to try to get ready by properly, sitting down, taking a good breath, and then go across my elbow. Try to get that all situated. Oh yeah, it's definitely tighter on this side. Feels good though. All right. That's actually the one that I think I needed the most. All right. Forward fold. So I'm gonna bring my leg in again. This other leg is straight and just out to the side in front of me. And depending on how comfortable you are, you can reach forward with one hand and try to get your toes. You gotta go back, I guess. Go with your toes. You can also go ahead and go over and try to stretch. Now, if you're super flexible, which I'm not at the moment, then you can probably go with this one and then reach and touch your toes also, or you can just go towards it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab my toes while trying to keep this leg straight. I'm gonna kind of almost arc over and just try to get there. Couple breaths. And we'll swap. Opposite leg. All right, this is a tighter one. I can already feel it in my back. So I'll just be more careful when I reach for my toes. See, this one I can actually make an adjustment. So it's a good example. The other side, I could easily reach my toes. This one, as I go for the toes, I feel like, yeah, I can reach them, but I have to kind of like struggle, which makes my back tighter, because it's fighting against my stretch, which is not what you want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just grab wherever I feel like is more comfortable, which for me is gonna be by the ankle. And then I'll do the same movement here. So as I did with the other side. So reach for the ankle and stretch. So the other thing is timing too. When is it a good time to stretch? Really, it's never a bad time to stretch, but if you're cold and you're not warmed up, you don't want to do any type of intense stretching right off the bat. No ballistic or dynamic stretching like we used to do in karate. You want to make sure your body's ready for the stretch, especially the older you get. Usually the tighter we get, the more our ligaments and muscles are not ready for intense stretches until they're warmed up. So the best time to stretch, I think in general, is when you are really warmed up after exercise. It's like, it makes sense, right? Your body is, the muscles, everything is warm. All the blood is pumping through there. You have areas of the body that have different types of lubricating fluids, like in the joints and ligaments that are going. So it's the best time to stretch because you're gonna be able to go deeper, and it's gonna be safer for you too. So that's what I usually recommend. Coming in today, I didn't have any sort of workout right before, so everything is kind of cold. That's why I'm a little bit more cautious with the stretching, and I would recommend for you to be as well. Now, if you are somebody who does a morning shower and gets like really a hot steam shower, that's a great way to warm up the body. And then if you go into stretching after that, then it actually allows you to go a little bit deeper. So that's awesome. All right, so we got that one. Let's go ahead and stretch the arms a little bit too. Give the legs a break. So we can go behind, grab the elbow, stretch the shoulder and the tricep here. Good way to get the arms involved after doing so much for the lower body. And we'll swap opposite side. All right, opposite side here. I see everybody popping in and out. Anybody that's in right now, hello. Coach Greg here. 5:30 a.m.-ish over here in Wakanda, Illinois. Hope you guys are doing great. Pop in with a question if you have one, or a funny comment. Looks like I'm getting a lot of love in the comments today. You guys should see what some of the blocked ones from YouTube are. Some of them I can, I guess I could allow, but I love TMs and maybe you know me, but I don't comments today. And then we have obviously Conor McGregor. Yeah, if you guys are joining from wherever you are, let me know where you're from and time zone and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions related to health and wellness, things like that. Today we're doing a more, you could say, recovery or relaxing kind of session. We're not doing anything intense. We're doing more, stretching and yoga. So hopefully this is helpful to those that were asking about this one. All right, we have a couple more stretches here. I'm gonna go ahead and do a standing stretch. This one is great for the hamstrings. We're gonna step over and then basically just reach down and see how far you can go. If this is as far as you can go, that's fine. If you can go further, awesome. What's the difference between this one and the one we just showed? Well, this one, it's kind of like the one you might see in gym class where it's a toe reach, like how far can you reach? This one, by stepping over, actually creates more of a stretch for the leg that's in the back. So the leg that's behind your front leg, you get a really big stretch for the hamstring as well. What's a cool way to do it? Actually is if you have a weight. So we're gonna go ahead and use a weight for this one. You can actually use it to help you go down a little bit deeper. Kettlebell is ideal for this. I don't have my kettlebells with me at the moment, but let's do this. We can pretend this is a kettlebell by holding it with both hands here. Breathe in, and then on the way down, you release. Let the dumbbell guide you. Just be careful that you don't drop it. See, I'm getting deeper with each breath. Okay. Slowly on the way up, we'll swap opposite side. Okay. Leave it right there. We're not going too long on this one. It's actually a concept, relax into stretch, that's been around for a long time. One of the pioneers, I believe, of this one was this Russian trainer, Pavel Tsatsoulinas. Hope I'm pronouncing his name right. And we actually, way back in the day, my brother and I, we had his book and DVD called Relax into Stretch, I believe. And it was the same concept. You tighten up the muscles, and then when you release the tension, that's when you exhale and you go deeper on your stretch. It's a great way to stretch because you're not stretching tight muscles or basically constricted muscles, but ones that are relaxed. And sometimes by doing this contraction, you tire them out, so then there's less resistance. Think of like how you feel after you did some sort of like intense workout or something. You just feel like, I just want to fall on the floor and just relax. you know, that's kind of the same concept. There's not as much resistance in your body, so it's more pliable and like able to go through the stretching, which I think is an awesome concept, and it works. It definitely does work. So other reason why it actually helps to stretch when you're warmed up after a workout. Your body's tired, you know, it's like you're not gonna get the same level of pushback from your body. It's just gonna say, all right, fine, stretch, I'm tired, whatever. We're gonna grab the dumbbell, and once again, let it guide us down to the floor. Now I'm on the floor. Great for the back. We'll rock it to the side. All right, we got that one. We'll have a couple more here. All right. Hey, there's King Nadish. What's happening? Good to see you. One of our regular warriors. Where is your Turk builder and cookbook, if you get what I mean? I don't, but I think I do. You know, I often think like, you know, a lot of the different trainers out there try to like do too many things at once. You know, like, hey, I have my cookbook, I have this, I have this, I have this, and they have like so many products, it's kind of hard to keep up. And then for some, you can tell if you've been around long enough, you kind of can see which coaches, you know, they really specialize in multiple areas, or if some of them are actually like, you know, really just good at one thing and they're just trying to make money. So they have like also this and also this and also that. Take it from me, you really got to know your stuff in order to create those products unless you get help. Like for us, we started with an app and we kind of got a little bit too ahead of ourselves because my brother and I, we both have the knowledge. So we were putting together the workouts, we were putting together the videos, and we realized there's a lot that goes into having a fitness app. And we had full client load, and we were like, you know, every month you have to pay a certain amount of fees for the app, and it's like, geez, you know, let's push this on the back burner for now until we get all of other ducks in a row. But it was a great learning experience. So even though, okay, we have our app out there, Complete Warrior Fit, but we also are like, dude, we really gotta get a lot more done for this app before we re-release it. You know, it's a learning experience. So, oh yeah, Greg Doucette does that thing. So, yeah, I don't even know what a Turk builder is. Cookbook, yeah. I mean, a lot of coaches will have that as their background. You know, like for example, that's one of my certifications that I have from ISSA. It's a specialist in fitness nutrition. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that I'm a nutritionist, because in the USA, I'm gonna adjust this height here. In the USA, they're very strict on, you know, if you're a coach, you can't say you're a nutritionist or a dietitian unless you have the proper license. And you can have certifications, but they don't necessarily mean that you can officially give a diet to somebody. You have to have it's more medical, and it's a higher grade of a license if you're going to be a nutritionist or a dietitian. So the one I have, I can give suggestions, but I can't officially write something up and say, you know, medically, this is what you need to do. So does it mean that I don't know what I'm talking about? Not necessarily, but it's not something that, you know, if I'm working at a gym, now if I'm working at my own business, it's a little bit different, but if I'm working at a gym, then I can only give suggestions, you know, so because they want to take as little liability as possible. So you see a lot of these different coaches also have, you know, cookbooks and things because they're easy to sell, they're easy to market generally. Some of them are really good, some of them are very kind of vanilla. And I haven't looked at his, but I know that he's very like prolific in terms of being out there. So, and I'm sure he knows what he's talking about, you know, in many aspects. So I think that one hopefully is good too. All right, Gym Tour. It's a plant-derived testosterone. Oh, I should know that. Okay, Turk builder. Interesting. I will look into that because I'm actually a vegetarian. So I thought that, so that might be an interesting thing to add to my repertoire. A plant-derived testosterone, okay. All right, gym tour, yes, in a little bit. Let me do this stretch because I want to show this one. There isn't much to tour right now because it's my home gym, but I will give you a tour in just a sec. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take this leg across and we're going to go backwards. So it's called a figure 4 stretch. This one you can do it seated. I don't have a chair here, but some people will do it seated. That's kind of like your baseline. Then you can do it on the floor, which is the next step up in terms of how deep you can go. And for some people, they're actually able to do this one only on the, in a seated position, and that's fine. So this one, we're gonna lay back, we're gonna bring the one leg over. So from here, I'm already going to be feeling a nice stretch in my glute, the opposite glute, of course. I gotta scoop my butt over here so you can see it. All right, so the one that's being bent, that's the stretch I'm getting. So glute is being stretched. I can go underneath, thread my hands through, behind my leg, relax, and then just pull it forward. So this one really, really will help the back. And it's going to actually release a lot of tension there. So bonus for this one, remember how we were doing those runner stretches earlier? If you can actually take this whole contraption, both your legs, and bring it across, that actually is another great stretch, once again, for the glute and the back. So that's how I usually do it. I'll do the first stretch for a while, and then I'll switch and do this one. And we'll swap the legs. So now I got this side, swap here, pull it forward. For some people, this is a stretch where they say you should go underneath to protect the knee. I will sometimes go with the knee, actually, because I get a deeper stretch. And some yogis will say, don't put that pressure on the knee. I really don't feel it. My knees are healthy, so I go with this, with these hands on top of the kneecap. And I pull, and then I get a deeper stretch. So I'm okay with that. Obviously, I always tell my clients, all right, try the first one. And if you feel a good stretch, just leave it. If you feel like you need a deeper stretch, try to go on the kneecap. If your kneecap feels good, all right, let's keep it. Otherwise, we stick with the original. So hold this. Some of these stretches I would obviously hold a lot longer if I was doing my own session, but because we're streaming, we're trying to get through more stretches. And I'm bringing everything down and keep this stretch. And the arm, sometimes people will ask, why is this arm flat on the floor? Well, if you keep it flat, you're actually going to also stretch your pectoral here. So you're going to stretch your chest. So it just adds an extra layer of recovery and mobility. And if you look towards your hand or your outstretched arm, it also is good for extending the stretch. It's good for your neck too. Get a little bit of a stretch on the opposite side. All right. So we got both there, both sides. Oh, we're almost at the hour. So we went longer today. Not as many viewers and excited viewers for the the yoga, but that's okay. We were finding it asked about. So, all right. Yeah, actually, King Najish, yeah, you were just going to ask, what does beef taste like? Well, it's hard to describe. Obviously, I wasn't vegetarian all my life, but now these days, my wife sometimes will buy this like Beyond Protein or Beyond Meat protein sometimes. So we kind of like add it in for extra, as an extra protein boost. And they've gotten really good at mimicking the taste. But really, you don't get as much of an individual taste with meat and stuff. I think it's more like how it's seasoned. That's why I always find the plant and fruit foods like more tasty, I guess, because they have like their own unique flavors and tastes. And with meat, it's like by itself, it's kind of like tofu. When you have tofu, it's just this cube. It's really got no taste. You have to really, it's how you prepare it. So if you make it firm, then it has a little bit of texture, and then if you like season it, then the tofu tastes like really good, Otherwise, it's just like nothing. It's like you're eating like an ice cube or something. All right, so That's a good question. Let's get a gym tour. There isn't, like I said, much right now, but I can show you and we can talk about what's gonna be where. All right, so this is where you walk in. Actually, I gotta unhook my charging cable. So in the basement here, we have our official but soon to be non-current logo, because I'm coming up with a different logo for the lion here. But yeah, so you walk in, you got the door here, and as you walk, this is the main space. So this is where the previous owners, they basically just had like a big storage space here, and they were holding like, they had a whole bunch of, you know, shelves and cabinets and stuff. When I came in here, I was like, this is gonna be my home gym where I can do virtual training and also personal training. And personal training for people that you know live in the area. I've had already a few clients come in and train. It's not a big space. The space that I'm moving the equipment out from is a space that we share with our friends that have their own training business, and it's 10,000 square feet. It's huge. I don't know how many of these you could fit in there, but you know, these spaces, but it's a lot. So, so this is gonna be a downgrade in terms of space, but you know, it's okay. Some equipment, obviously, we're gonna sell to our friends and leave it there. Some we're taking, or I'm taking. And so right now, there's really nothing here. What I'm seeing is this center area. I have this all-in-one station called a Vectra, and it's basically like, you know, you have a bench press there, you have a pull-down machine, you have a leg press. So that's gonna comprise of basically the big portion of this space. Here in this corner, we're going to have either a hamstring machine. There's this monster machine, it's called, where you can do hamstring work. You can also flip around and do core work. And I feel like that's gonna fit nicely there. Well, we can't really move our sump pump and I have my little dehumidifier and stuff and the battery pack for that. So all that's gonna have to kind of stay there. Maybe I'll like block it off so it's not in the way. Here we will have, I'm gonna bring all the dumbbell racks and kettlebell racks. So that's gonna be kind of along this side. And here you see I have a couple of the Swiss balls. So I'll probably like get a couple more and just like stack them up. And on the walls, I'm gonna try to hang up some contraptions. You know, I have some hooks and stuff that I'm gonna put into the cement wall, and that's gonna be like, you know, the hex bar and like other attachments and stuff. And then, you know, here on this wall, I'm gonna try to hang up some stuff. Like we have a big timer, you know, like a gym timer where you have like a remote and you can turn rounds on and off for like kickboxing or whatever. You know, what's interesting is here, there's like a little lip. I know you might not be able to see, and I'm not tall enough to reach it, but like a little lip. I was thinking of trying to add in some like Ninja Warrior stuff that we used to have at one of our old gyms, like where you can kind of grip and like maybe, you know, go across and like traverse. And then maybe here to have one of those little peg ladders where you have to like put a peg in, take it out, and then climb, you know, and it's like one for each side. I think that would be interesting. All right, and then here we have right now just the weights, slam ball, more of these little, you know, hex square puzzle pieces, some swag that I still have to give away. Oh, speaking of, that's where the hat was. TWF hat, sweet. And then the clock that I haven't put up yet. But here in this corner, I feel like probably have a kickboxing station. So either a hanging bag or a one of those bobbies or both, because we have that in the gym. So, and here, these I gotta get rid of. They're just like little end pieces for these puzzle pieces on the floor. And then this is a TRX, one of these suspension trainers where you can basically hold on and pull. And here we have another aspect of the TRX, which is kind of like a stick on a bungee. It's called a rip trainer, and you can do a lot of cool stuff. And for that, we're gonna hook it up with one of these. Let me see if you can see it here. And YouTube is yelling at me, like, don't move the camera too much. All right, so this one, I think, let's see. Oh, my friend locked it up. All right, it's closed. I'm not gonna open it, but basically inside of here is a little what's called like an X holder, And for that, if I put it up on the wall somewhere, usually better to put into cement, but once you have that, you can clip stuff onto it, which is cool. So like a TRX band or something, and you can do a lot of crazy stuff. And that X holder will basically allow you to, use more than just even your body weight. So it's a great way to keep it going, keep the suspension trainer stuff going. Hey, what's up, Mr. Sports? What up? Good to see you, my friend. All right, let's see. What else did I miss here? Buy a pet praying mantis. It would be identical to Baki's room. There you go. Yes, Baki. Baki's awesome. Yeah, I think there's some stuff, even though it's nothing really here, but I think there's some stuff that is possible. Although I might have to get creative. I was thinking of putting like some sort of like maybe metal beams or something where I could have like a cool ninja training thing again, like kind of swing across and jump across, but I have to make sure that they're secure because I don't want to like mess up my floor. Slam ball, but I don't know what they cost, like $100 here. Ooh, yeah, slam balls can be expensive. See if you can find something, I don't know, depends on, I guess, what you have available in terms of your, where do you live again, King Nadish? Because if you have a service like Amazon, you should be able to get, a lot of different options, but yeah, because of the import tax or who knows, or shipping, it might be a lot. This one from Amazon, where's the Amazon? The Amazon ball actually is one of the cheapest slam balls I found. There's also that's right, King Nadish is in India. I was trying to find one that was cheaper here, and that was like one of the best from Amazon. But you can also go to, if there's any places around where you live that sell kind of like used equipment, that's where, like here in America, we have ones called Play It Again Sports. You can usually go and you'll find stuff that's been used lightly or even not lightly, but you can save a lot of money by getting used stuff. And for slam balls, look, they're gonna get beat up. You don't have to have a brand new one as long as it works. And if it doesn't, then sometimes you can make your own if you have some creativity. But yeah, the fact that you gotta slam it, it has to be a solid material. So, all right, man, it's already 6 a.m. Central Time here. All right. Well, so that's the gym tour. There isn't, like I said, a lot going on at the moment, and I really have to get the stuff in here because I really want to be able to show more, and also obviously it'll make the workouts here a little bit more interesting for people too. So we don't have any culture here, bro. Oh, I'm sure you do, my friend. I came from Poland and I left when I was 8. So when I was leaving, there was not a lot in terms of, especially in the small town I grew up in, there wasn't a lot that was very modern. It was kind of an old school town. And when I came back years later, I was 14, 15, it had already gotten so much more modern, or westernized, you could say. And now I think it's very modern. Like you have Uber, you have McDonald's, you have all these things that are here in the West. Not all of which are good, but some of which are very nice and helpful. But yeah, you don't need any fancy equipment. Obviously, a lot of the stuff that I try to show is like body weight anyway. So you just you can train with almost anything. Nothing fun to do here. We only have spirituality. Well, you know what? Capoeira is awesome. Capoeira, what do I think about it? I think it's fantastic. Why? Because capoeira is it's not just that it's a great way to keep yourself fit and limber, but it's a great way to, I think, work off energy. It's fun. Some people use it as a combat sport. Some people use it as a way to dance and like have fun. Some people use it as a form of yoga almost, but yoga meaning like a way to keep loose, It's awesome. I've never done it myself, but I've always thought it's an excellent martial art. I would love to try it, but obviously that would probably take some time before you get pretty decent at it. But it's fun. Yeah, I agree. Capoeira is awesome. I think my first experience was watching Gosh, was it Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos? Where I think it was Capoeira was featured there. That might have been, and then obviously playing Tekken 3, playing as Eddie Gordo, just mash the buttons and he like helicopter kicks everybody. It was awesome. All right, guys. So I will log off here because it is time for me to get to my clients here. It was a lot of fun here. It was a long class, but I appreciate you all, especially towards the end. I see some of the regular warriors like King Nadish, Mr. Sports. You guys are awesome. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. I'm going to try to do as many of these live streams as possible because it's always a good time. So, King Nadish, it was a pleasure. Thank you for all the great questions, Mr. Sports as well, and then all the other all the other questions. You guys should see some of the comments on this one in the beginning. My favorite is. Well, there's a tie. TM said, "You are a cutie patootie." And then maybe you know me, but I don't. Said, "You're just a ray of sunshine, aren't you?" See? Actually, sorry. La Jo Exo has takes the cake with, "You're as beautiful as a dandelion blossoming in the summertime." Just poetic. I love it. All right. And yes, I will pray for you, my friend. An exam tomorrow, you're going to do awesome. I'm going to send that positivity. Speaking of positivity, let's finish with our affirmations here. Every day in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better, better, and better. Good. All right. Have an awesome day. Thank you guys for checking out the stream, and we'll be back soon.